started with my idea middle of year 11, I think. So I had already set in my mind what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to do embroidered photography. I was so set on this one idea. Did a lot of drawing and a lot of ideas and coming up with the concepts and figuring out how I wanted to look at the movement and the flow of the embroidery and how it was going to sort of drape down around the body. And paper was a big thing. I wanted to use watercolour paper and stitch on watercolour paper, but of course you can't hold watercolour paper and it crumples, and came up with canvas printing it. Although I didn't want it to have that glossy look, I really wanted to have that look of watercolour paper, but I'd never embroidered before. I'm not a photographer and I'm not an embroiderer, so I started off with something that I'm not actually capable of doing at all. So that was probably the biggest issue for me, was actually teaching myself. I took the photos, finding the right positions and the way to create that dripping down the arms and around the body and stuff. Stitching took longer than expected. I had to stitch every night for about an hour, and it took me a week to 2 weeks to do each of them. And towards the end there I got a bit lazy and I was doing the flowers bigger and not as well as I'd hoped because I was running out of time, so time management was an issue, which then meant second prac I had to shorten the amount of time. So for my second prac I did one that I could sit down and do in a day. I could just do the painting in a day. Well, again, on internet I'd seen this artist, Alexa Mead, who just did live paintings, like would paint the human body to look like a 2D painting, and I just thought that was amazing. And again, never done it before and terrible at photography, so I chose something that was way out of my depth again. Probably again not a great choice because it did take a long time to sort of come up with the concept and work out what paints I can use on skin, because a lot of them aren't good for your skin, what things I can put underneath, like latex, and then the person that I was doing it on is allergic to latex, so I couldn't use that, so then I had to use barrier creams, and the process of painting took about 3 hours. She was sitting there and the paint's drying on her legs, and so it loses that glossy look, so I had to re-go over the paint again, and at the end I wanted for the final video her to stand up and walk towards the camera, but her legs were so stiff because the paint had dried that she couldn't move. Yeah, lots of things, but it all kind of came together in the end. An art teacher is sort of the plan in the future, yeah. At Flinders University studying education in the arts and majoring in visual arts. So yeah, 100%. My art teacher, she was a huge influence and sort of made me feel like it would be a great career path, yeah.